Welcome in, friendos. Leading off starts right now. I am your host, Chris Welsh. Of course, it's always been me. And look at that, with power and all, lights on, camera action. It's Bubba in the house. Bubba, we missed you earlier this week.
I missed being here. I felt bad, but I had no control over the situation. I was pretty bummed about it, but we're back. I get to join you guys on a Thursday this week, and have some fun chatting up with my friend the Welsh.
We had the stinky old Bogman on the show.
I know.
Things.
My brother from another mother. If he's kept his head shaved, we'd be good to go.
Yeah, that'd be good. He should do. I'd like him to do
just
do
a
the
little.
Yeah,
that'd be adorable on him. That'd be really funny.
It'd be adorable. That's definitely the look at it. We got all the happenings around baseball for you today, and of course, number one is Julio is the best. But I love Julio Rodriguez. So do you. We all do. And friends, he just continues to go. And what else can be said about Julio Rodriguez? Blasted a leadoff homer, swiped a base on Wednesday as the Mariners won 6-1. Now 26 homers, 25 stolen bases. And we've got some fun notes here. Here were some fun facts from Sarah Langs. 2, Julio Rodriguez is the first player in MLB history with 25 homers and 25 stolen bases in his first MLB season. The other two rookies to do it had debuted the year prior, and 25 homer, 25 stolen bases in a rookie season going to that was Mike Trout in 2012 and Chris Young with the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2007. Julio is the best. Bubba, we love Julio.
Yep.
How much do we love Julio?
A ton, and it's fun. I did an early draft a few weeks ago for 2023, and He went, I believe it was fifth overall, fourth
Was this
overall.
for
He went,
redraft?
yeah, it did. Well, it's a Draft Champions League for 2023 on NFBC, and we did the first 7 rounds. And I wanted him very badly. I think I had the 6th pick, and he went right before me. I think he's legit as it comes, like legit 30-30 type guy. He's amazing. It's going to be fun because I could even, if he keeps doing this, there's going to be conversation of like a top 1 or 2 pick by certain leagues. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned as far as my dynasty ranks go, I moved him to number 1 overall, and that's the last thing I've got to do is actually sort all of my redraft players on like an overall list, and Julio is in that consideration for sure, but he continues to just go nuts. I think he has an interesting thing too, where he's like, I don't consider myself a rookie, and it's like, well, you can't even rent a car, and you're the best player on the planet right now. You barely are able to stay out past midnight and drink, but you are a kid. You are a rookie, but you are maybe one of the best players in baseball, and sometimes those things just coincide with each other. So Mariners win games. Julio Rodriguez continues to go, and it's really been a great spot for any betting stuff too, because hitting at the top of the lineup, just more opportunities for at bats. So there you go. Gunnar Henderson tripled, doubled, and knocked in 4 as the Orioles bested the Nationals 6-2 on Wednesday. The locks were flowing, and he continues to ball out with the rookies. Corbin Carroll, I don't see this on this list. Corbin Carroll hit his 3rd homer, which was a he has this knack, by the way, not to turn this into Corbin Carroll. He has this knack when he hits the ball, you just don't notice how far it's going to go. It kind of looks like this innocuous pop-up, and it's not. And Gunnar and Corbin just kind of going blow for blow right now. Probably the 2 leading candidates for Rookie of the Year for next season, but Gunnar with a big game and Corbin Carroll with a big game as well.
Yeah, both monster games. Gunnar, he's been a staple in my DFS lineups lately because he's been super cheap. So I've been rolling that, and he just continues to produce. And eventually, they're going to move him up in that order, you'd imagine, at some point this season. But Carroll's been great, and even seeing the replay, it's almost like he didn't even think it was going to go out last night because he was kind of running, and he just kind of slowed down. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, now I can trot. So both these guys are getting comfortable, and they're starting to produce. And it's a thing of beauty watching all these young players. Every week, it seems like we get a new batch, and it's been pretty cool.
Carroll barrels, baby. Carroll so far with 3 homers, no stolen bases, which is actually the biggest shock to me of all of those, but Lovello is such a monster about running and stealing, unless it's Jake McCarthy, where McCarthy can go,
runs wild.
And he can steal home. And by the way, be safe, but be called out in the Diamondbacks win. That happened last night. McCarthy just has the green light to do whatever the hell he wants. I don't know if they're giving that to Carroll because he's not stealing any bases, but 3 homers, 273 batting average so far, 12 hits in this short stint, only 43 at bats, but he's already got 9 RBI. Gunnar hitting 320, only 1 homer, but he's got 1 stolen base, 16 hits, 9 RBI, 4 of which came last night. Both have been very, very good pushes for you guys into the year. So into your playoff runs, which is very, very nice. I'll remind everybody, if you guys got any fantasy questions at the end, I will kind of star them as we go, and we'll see if we can answer a few of these questions, whatever it is, for the rest of this season. So just put them in the chat for the Peanuts and the Cracker Jacks, and we will try to get to it at the end of the episode if you have any. Luis Castillo, 9 strikeouts over 6 scoreless frames on Wednesday, defeating the Padres, earning his 6th victory of the year. And that's another one of those guys. I actually think Castillo and Gallen, to me, are like 1A, 1B will be my most targeted mid-range pitchers next year.
Yeah, they're going to be fun because, everyone likes to talk about taking pitchers early, get your aces early. If you're not in that camp, you could legit start with a Castillo or a Gallen and be cool with that. Hopefully in round 3, I don't know. Castillo, I could see creeping up in deeper leagues in round 2, so it'll be fun. But he's been a beast. Got out of Great American Small Park. He's doing what we thought he would do. Walks are down, which is huge. But he's just taking advantage of a real defense behind him, and he's striking guys out. And he's awesome. He's everything we all thought he would be on a real team now.
Yeah. By the way, I just like this. I just like James's take on McCarthy. Just, bro, he was safe. He was safe. And he's interesting article too, not to make it back about McCarthy, but just tabling back here. Arizona AZ Central article out here talking about how he's making it a tough situation for the Diamondbacks and what they're going to have to do with how they put it all together next season. But there's no doubt he's going to be in there. And by the way, a dead ringer for Lip Gallagher. If you ever watch Shameless, he looks exactly like him. Yeah,
that's interesting. That's a good comp. Now that I noticed that, because I believe it was after the walk-off you guys had last night, you guys in Arizona. I believe Jake jumped over the railing and had the locks kind of going out there. I believe it was Jake, and it was a good look, very good look.
Go watch Shameless, and you're gonna like, oh, McCarthy's in it. It's crazy.
Just watch Shameless because it's a great show. You're gonna really enjoy it.
I watched the last season. Actually, I'm behind. I haven't watched the last season, which I'm a little bummed about.
It's not bad.
Oh, is it not great?
It's never going to be as good as when the whole cast is there.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, once what's her name left the show.
Yeah.
I watched that season, though. But yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
All right. The last of the big headlines: Rays are activating Shane McClanahan from the 15-day IL, and he's already back. His money and price is already back up there, Bubba.
Yeah, no, people are all aboard the Shane O'Mac train, as you'd expect, and they were kind of downplaying the injury. Looks like he's okay. If he's good to go, then yeah, rock and roll, and Shane O'Mac could be getting you some awards coming the end of the season.
I remember back in the day watching him cry on his pitching coach's shoulder and how terrified it was. Like, oh God, are we going to lose him? Are we going to lose him? We didn't, thankfully.
Yeah.
On the injury front, Luis Robert still not in the White Sox lineup as of Thursday against the Guardians. He's just perpetually never.
Do the White Sox realize they have an injured list? Is that like something that they just don't believe in, or is it only because Tim Anderson's on it we can't have other people? I'm really confused.
Yeah, with the biggest nightmare of playing in September, and it's kind of dead now, of course, but like the biggest nightmare of playing your fantasy baseball in December was when it went to 40-man rosters.
Oh, yeah.
No one would ever go on the IL anymore because of the rosters. They would never do it. But now it's not. They added like 3 roster spots.
Yep.
Put them on the IL. Go ahead.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not going to hurt them. I don't know. Maybe there's like some contractual thing or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. Who the hell knows at this point? Seiya Suzuki heading for x-rays on his left-hand wrist after being hit by a pitch during Wednesday's game against the Mets. He was having an average pickup, but, someone you could probably easily move through. Also, x-rays on an injured hand of Rhys Hoskins came back negative, which is great. But, the hand injuries in general just make me worried. And you might only have a week or so left. And, if you're kind of slowly recovering from it, it might be a zap of power. So if you play in a league, you could throw Hoskins maybe on the bench. Just monitor it, I suppose, but I would be a little bit worried about it. And Luis Ariz was pulled from Wednesday's contest against the Royals due to left hamstring tightness. Would you be willing to pull the plug on a Rhys Hoskins right now with only like a week and a half or 2 to go with it? Even if like he's like, hey, it's negative, he's going to rest a day and come back. Would you be willing to pull the plug if there's something out there?
Not yet, but it's one of those where I don't really have daily leagues. If you have daily leagues, it's a lot more tricky. But like my moves come on Sunday, so I want to see some news the next couple of days. But if he's not playing for the next few days and it's still kind of a day-to-day thing, possibly. It definitely would depend on what's out there. I'm not just doing it for any willy-nilly move, but if it's something that could help me in the last couple of weeks, yes, because it is that time of the year. You just start cutting ties. I made a joke on a recent episode of my show that you almost need to just like cover up names and just look at what stats are best for what your team needs are right now. Yeah. And that's all that matters anymore. So if that's the case, fine. But Rhys has been awesome this year, so it's tough to do.
Yeah. Pitchers sometimes make it a little bit tough. If you have like a good pitcher that might miss a start, but then it's like in the championship week, you get that one big start can make a difference. But it really is that case with hitters and chasing categories and stuff like that. If you have a great power team already and he's hurt and there's something out there,
you can move on for sure.
Yeah, but the big question always, these blanket statements come out that, hey, you can move on, but it's dependent on what is out there. But just letting you know, that's one of them. But I do like your idea of covering up the names. Let's talk about some stat heroes. JT Realmuto, 2 for 4 with 2 homers yesterday. Rodolfo Castro had a homer with 4 RBIs. Julio, combo meal, homer, stolen base, 2 runs with an RBI. Gunnar Henderson, as we mentioned, had the 4 RBI. Mickey Moniak with a homer and 2 RBI. Let's talk about Moniak in a second. Oscar Gonzalez, 3 for 4 with a homer. Jonah Heim had a home run. Riley Adams, Mark Mathias, and Sergio Alcantara with the walk-off homer for the Diamondbacks. Let's talk about Moniak then for a minute. What do you got?
I just love seeing it because it's the old, top pick, kind of flailed out. The second he's been traded to Anaheim, he was playing great. Then he got hurt. He wasn't playing great. He was playing well. Got hurt, and I felt bad for him. Like he's getting ready to run, looks kind of more confident at the plate. Comes back already, gets the homer and the double yesterday. He's leading off for the Angels. They're going to give him a solid run the rest of the way here. I think it's good to see. And, the talent was there at one point in time. You've probably seen him in person potentially. And it's just, I think this is a really sneaky thing to keep an eye on come next season, that if he's starting for that team, they need that player out in the outfield that can do this and lead off. And that's a big, big boom for him.
There's an interesting trade overall with a couple of those Philly guys going. at the end of the day, seeing Moniak and like Logan O'Hoppe, if people pay attention to him, Logan O'Hoppe has been on another just world since he's been traded from the Phillies over to the Angels. He's looked like their top prospect right now, and both of those guys kind of thriving with playing time. If anything, you know what, Marsh is kind of thriving as well. And
it worked out for everybody. Like everyone got kind of a new look on life, and it's that's all it takes sometimes. Like it's just not working out in a certain place, so it's fine.
Yeah. And Moniak might be a guy you can ride out the rest of the year. The chat's kind of like going on, talking about the kind of blinding yourself with the players' names with McCarthy. We see Oscar Gonzalez popping up. I think Moniak can kind of fall into the same trajectory
100%.
of like, you know, these guys that you get out there that are going to kind of get regular playing time through the rest of this season. And it's interesting seeing, you know, Moniak succeed and Adele still struggle. It really tells you a bigger story about like what Adele's future probably looks like, which really should be on another team. Like he would do.
I was say maybe he's the perfect example. Go somewhere else. Like get a new lease on life.
Yeah, whatever. Get a hitting coach. Get somewhere where they're really gonna like work with them hard.
Get LASIK eye surgery so you can find the strike zone. I don't know.
Whatever the hell you got to do. Exactly. Play the wiffle ball games so the ball is easier. You know, something I always like to do in draft season, I always tell people, you want a great strategy for being able to adjust to 12-man leagues, go draft some 16-mans. Do some 16-mans, and then you're going to have like just a better take on it. Maybe same thing with baseball. Go hit some wiffle balls or something, and maybe that'll help. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very, very possible.
Joe Adele might need to get into fantasy baseball here soon. If
I can always use a guest spot, so I'm available, Joe, if you need me.
I'm sure he's dying. On the pitching side, Sonny Gray struck out 8 over 7, only gave up 3 hits. Christian Javier struck out 8 over 6, 2 hits, no walks. Thank you very much. Luis Castillo struck out 9, like we mentioned, over 6, walk 1, giving up only 4 hits. Carlos Rodon continues his incredible year, 5 innings, 8 strikeouts, walk 1, give up 2 hits, and Ross Stripling 6 1/3 with 4 strikeouts and a walk. I've actually struggled a little bit with what I'm doing with Rodon in even redraft for next season. Dynasty is kind of another question. Where do you think he lies? Do you think he lies in that Luis Castillo range? Or, you know, obviously statistically, I think even on Yahoo's algorithm, he's performed way over that. Do you think he belongs in that upper tier range or more in the Gallen and Castillos?
I think he belongs in the Gallen and Castillo, and in that range, I still won't have any of Rodon. Like, I love the guy. He's been amazing this year and last year, but I'm still just, I guess in the back of my brain, it's always those injuries, and I'm concerned. You have to see where he pitches next year. I don't see him coming back to SF unless they give him a big deal, which I don't think they'll do. It's not Farhan strategy. So we'll see how that plays out. He's been outstanding, but right about now, you're paying for his best, and that's something I don't like to do come draft season.
Yeah, wonky here. That'll help increase baseball's popularity. To understand our fantasy game, go play wiffle ball first. Yeah, wonky. As you know, baseball really, really curates great ways for everyone to understand fantasy baseball better and real baseball, you know, by like the money and manipulation and not caring about the players. And baseball does a really good job of its popularity across the board. So you know what? If anything, I think wiffle ball would help. You know, hey, you want a great thing for the All-Star weekend? Do a wiffle ball tournament. I would rather
that would be amazing.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Let's go play cup ball. Remember those days? Cup ball?
Yeah.
Let's bring back the Little League days.
Don't you dismiss me, the wonky penguin. Don't you dismiss me. Wiffle ball actually might be better for baseball in general. Clearly would be for Joe Adele. So we're not going to have that argument. On the stat zeros, Giancarlo Stanton, 4 Ks. He did have a hit. It was 1 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. Charlie Blackmon, 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. And Manny Machado, 0 for 4 with 3 as well. Austin Riley, 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Some big names there. On the pitching side, David Peterson didn't make it into the second out. 1/3 of an inning, gave up 5 earned runs, walk 3. Bleh. Mike Clevenger, 6 earned runs in 5, gave up 3 homers. That's been the thing with him. JP Sears gave up 5 earned runs. And Drew Rasmussen, I'm glad I didn't do it. I almost got tempted to play a K-prop with him. He only went 4, gave up 4, struck out 1.
Yeah.
So Drew Rasmussen's weird. Yeah.
I liked him a lot last night too in tournaments as a tournament play, and that did not go so well.
Yeah, no, it didn't. I told you guys about this before, but just give you a reminder, we haven't done it in a couple days. I know Austin Riley did go 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts, but last year he was quite good, so much they made the World Series. And in the month of September, if you guys subscribe to the podcast, the Leading Off podcast, if you rate it and then you review it, you will become eligible to win an Austin Riley 2021 signed World Series baseball, which would be awesome for the collection. and it take you like a minute. You just got to hit subscribe, hit rate, put in a little thing, and you're done. And that's it. And you could potentially win in the month of September for anybody that goes and does that. So go and do it. Do it today. Over on the home run leaderboard, I would just like to point out we had Wonky Wednesday. And on the Wonky Wednesday, it was hit a homer with a lefty and you get double points. Bingo, bango. Yes. Nobody in the top 10 got their lefty or their righty or any of them because the top 10 did not change whatsoever. Not a single homer hit by any of them. And when I say hit, it is us digitally and virtually, predicting people that will hit it. We don't actually. But I did with my Bryce Harper call. So thank you very much. I doesn't put me remotely close to the leaderboard, so I shouldn't be bragging, but it was nice to have a little home run call, Bubba. You know how it goes, right?
Oh, I feel you. It's so gratifying, even though it really doesn't mean anything. But yes, it's great.
Yeah, it doesn't. All right, and it's time. Yes, we will do it. For BetMGM, we've got the blue. It's the blue diamond tiara because when we go to BetMGM, we are royalty. We wear our crowns. Sometimes we just have tiaras, but we don't discriminate. And BetMGM doesn't either. And if you use the promo code leading off, you will be eligible for a $1,000 risk-free first bet. All you got to do is go and sign up today. Use that promo code, and you can get in on those bad boys. You could start making bets, whether it's straight bets. You could go props. You could go strike, whatever you want. You can go parlays, however you want to do it. Get a risk-free bet. Go and sign up today. Support betting pros, fantasy pros with leading off, and get yourself a tiara. Which shout out to cousin Donnie for the tiaras. They look good. I didn't want to do the hair because I don't know if the hair is. The hair's all right today. I got a hat on. That looks good. It's a good look, right, Bubba?
It's outstanding. I love this is my favorite segment every day.
Yeah, I know. Everybody loves it. It's because I look like, look like fat Wonder Woman when I put it on with a beard. That's my bad.
You got some cosplay going on over there.
Yep, we cosplay over here. We've got some props for you. So bettingpros.com, the prop cheat sheet. It is awesome. I love using it, and especially even if it is just simply to kind of, I should put this back forward. If we are just trying to look for like what's being pushed out there, even if the algorithm is right or wrong, I always like it because it highlights players for me to do more work and studying on. And we've got total bases and strikeouts. So the total base props for today, the number one prop of any of them, of anything whatsoever, and the total base is Jose Ramirez. You only need one total base today. It's juiced up minus 180, and this is over on DraftKings. But one total base, they are projecting over 2. The plus money play, the number one plus money play over at BetMGM is Will Benson with the Guardians, where you need 1. So that's it. They project him at 1.5. You only need 1 on the strikeout front. Dylan Bundy is the number one strikeout play at minus 160 for 2.5. So you need 3 strikeouts versus Kansas City. He's projected at 4. A little bit of a risk, but boy, is that a low number. And what did I say it was? Minus 160 on DK. And Daniel Lynch is the number one plus money K prop. On the other side, 4.5 strikeouts versus Minnesota, which they love to do, is the number. He is projected at 4.6. So it's a little dicey. Plus 110. Bubba, any of these that you dig that you would want to put a bet on?
Well, the J-Ram one's outstanding, a little juicy for sure, but I kind of like the plus money on Daniel Lynch there. This Twins team's a scuffling just enough to make this interesting, so I like that plus money on Lynch, but J-Ram's the guy.
Yeah, and I think the Guardians one already started too.
It is the first inning. Right?
There's so much going on. I got to get better with that, pulling that and pulling a different one. But that game did start going on. Actually, Jose Ramirez, as we are speaking, is up.
Yep, I think it's over half right here.
I was about to say, I think it's illegal to do like play-by-play or anything like that, but I almost would love to have the game on and call like, does it get a hit? And we would have done it. You could have got it if you guys would have jumped over to bettingpros.com, go to the MLB prop cheat sheet. You would have got in on that a little bit ago. But yes, good call. Go Cards. Right as we were going, he's literally hitting right now, and we'll see. He's got 2 balls, but we're not going to go illegal here. Someone tell me if he gets it, because that'll be fun.
I got it on live. I'll let you know.
Okay, you do. Yeah, I don't want it to screw up all my stuff. Over on the DFS side, I'm going to pick your brain here because I've only got a couple things. I picked up some prices from FanDuel. Shane McClanahan on his return is 10-8 tonight. Lance McCullers on a pretty good matchup, 9-9, and Miles Michaelis, 9-2. Your projected 5 or more team total runs only is looking at Houston and St. Louis, which I think then goes back to making Michaelis and McCullers interesting. So that might be some lineup stacks if you want to go St. Louis and Houston. But Bubba, what do you think tonight as far as pitching? It could be DK, FanDuel, lineup builders. How do you see it?
Yeah, for DK, like McCullers is good. I think Carrasco could be a nice little pivot off McCullers going up against Pittsburgh. A lot of strikeouts in that lineup. I do have a question for you before I get into my bats, though. Talk to me about Dre Jameson.
Okay, so you know what? That's funny. I forgot to put him on here, and I knew he was going to come up. So Dre Jameson, I mentioned the baby backs are coming. The Diamondbacks are bringing everybody up. Dre Jameson is going to be pitching for the Diamondbacks tonight. Super athletic pitcher, big fastball. That's his big play. He can dial it up high 90s. He's got a really solid changeup, throws a slider in there, and he started throwing like a two-seamer as well. So he can move around the plate. His problem is consistency. So he lit it up in Double-A this year. He had like a 2.5 ERA, and I think it was over 4 starts. Then he went up into the PCL. You get lit up in the PCL, so you've got to kind of watch out for that. I think it's great stuff. I do think it's going to be relief long term, but if he's any bit consistent tonight and hitters not seeing him before, I think he could have a game. I just don't know. I don't want to pull because Tommy Henry had a great first game. Ryan Nelson has had 2. I think Dre is the most dangerous of all of them in that he could be the biggest strikeout guy, but he also could get lit up in 1 inning. So I think he's super, super risky.
All right. Yeah, no, I like Dre at 4K, though. I think he's SP2 on DK, kind of like that.
Wow, 4K? Okay.
Yeah, obviously you mentioned the Houston, St. Louis ones. The stack I like the most, though, because it's a tradition unlike any other. Give me the D-backs because we're fading Sean Manaea yet again. So, let's just roll, beat up on Sean Manaea. And they dropped a fly ball in front of home plate, so it should be an error on Grandal. Otherwise,
I'm seeing it right now. It's in play. Yep, it's a fielding error.
That is horrific.
Dang it, we didn't get the Ramirez one live. So you got to remind me too. I got to not be picking. I literally just go on to Betting Pros and the prop cheat sheet, and I like to back in the day when Joe was hosting, I would give you more of my plays. In this, I kind of like the idea of giving you what some of the generated plays are, but I didn't even look at the time on there. So that was my bad. But that would have been fun if you would have got a hit there.
Yep. All good. All good in the hood.
All right. So anything else on there? Any lineups that you want to be targeting? That's an interesting SB2 for DK.
The D-backs. The D-backs for me. D-backs for Sean Manaea all day long.
Yeah, I mean Jake McCarthy, whatever you can do.
Yep.
Yeah, Manaea's been poop over 5
He's been
ERA so far.
Really, really bad. So you can go there, and if you want to get sneaky, I think that attacking Dylan Bundy with Kansas City's in play as well.
Okay, Corbin Carroll, get Corbin Carroll in there. I like the stack on the D-backs. We have got, I think, a few questions. If you guys have any, this is your chance to get a few more. I've targeted a few. James had asked, where does Jeffrey Springs go in drafts next year? That's another one of those guys that if you look at algorithms as far as all the sites calculate players differently. Yahoo's calculates a bit different, but boy, does he go way higher as far as what he performed on the year. Stat-wise, 2.41 ERA, 8 wins, 124 strikeouts, a tiny little smidge over a 1 whip. What do you think? What's the general range of Springs?
He's very, very good. And it's one of those, will the Rays finally let him go? Kind of like they did Shane McClanahan. Then it's a whole other game. I'm not saying he's Shane McClanahan. I'm just talking about workload, usage. I'd say he has the potential to be a top 40 pitcher, maybe top 30, but I'd say top 40 for sure. I think he's very, very good. It's just that caveat of what did the Rays actually do?
I think he could get into the top 30 range next season. The plus is, as far as pitch counts go, he has, I'd have to do a quick math here. I mean, it looks like on average, he's averaged between 85 and 90 pitches a game. His last 2 have been a little bit less. He had a short outing in Boston, but he went 97 against the Yankees on the 2nd. In the month of August, 4 of his 5 starts were 85 pitches or more. So they really are letting the reins go a bit. And obviously he's going to have a whole bunch more innings under his belt this season because his total, he's at 115 this year. You're probably going to end around 130 130 maybe at best, and then next year you push him into the 150 to 70 range. I mean, he looks like he is on the Drew Rasmussen McClanahan bus. Like he's gonna be unloaded. So now they don't have to do these opener situations. You're gonna have like McClanahan and Rasmussen and Springs. I think they'll let him go. I think he has the potential because he's a high K guy too.
Yeah, I agree. Like he's very, very good. If they let him go, then it's all hands on deck.
Yeah. How about this? And I should have put that one up on the board. That was from James. Shout out to James. Quan versus IKF for steals for next week. Rest of the fantasy playoffs. Stephen Quan, by the way, I was actually shocked when I was re-going and looking at some numbers on the amount of steals he actually pulled up, because he was one of those guys that, it was kind of empty stats in general. And he's made do his fantasy value by having a good batting average, runs, and stolen bases. So instead of being a one category guy, he really is like a three not elite, but he's a 3 category player now. IKF or Quan next week?
Man, that's a tough one because Cleveland, it's all hit and miss, but Quan's been very, very good. I'm going to lean Quan just because I know he's going to lead off pretty much every day. IKF, he should play every day, but you never know. The Yankees do have depth there. So give me Stephen Quan in that conundrum.
I agree with you on that one. I'm also going to go with Stephen Quan there. IKF's fine. They do have a couple of the young kids that are looming around if they want to give him days and stuff. So I don't know. I'm going to go with Quan. I completely agree with you on that one. And there you go. A couple questions. You guys can continuously drop that as we are ending out. I can star them through the show from the Peanuts and Cracker Jacks in the chat, and we can get those from you guys. So feel free in every episode, drop a few questions, and we will come back at the end to answer them. And maybe we can help you guys either in your next year prep or for your fantasy playoffs. That leads us finally to the home run call of the day. I hadn't even actually picked mine out of the gates, Bubba. So let's hear from you first. What do you got on the home run call?
As I said earlier, I want to fade Sean Manaea because that's a tradition unlike any other. Give me Christian Walker. Christian Walker going deep tonight. Love me some Christian Walker. Love the D-backs. Have some fun with that one.
Ooh, now you're getting me kind of going here that I wonder, you know what? We're gonna go with Rake. I'm going with Rake McCarthy, Jake McCarthy tonight. I'm going to play you on that one. I was tempted to go Corbin Carroll. I also think on the Padres side, I wouldn't be surprised if Dre Jameson gives up a little bit. But, I know I'm playing both sides of the plate, but don't be surprised if Dre Jameson comes out first game hot, because that is a possibility. This is a 4-pitch repertoire. It's a good changeup. It's a slider. He's technically, they got a slider curveball that's in there. He can play all sides of the plate. He throws it really, really hard. It's all going to be about his command. If he's on, dude might strike out 8 tonight, but I don't know if that's going to be working long-term, because I do believe Dre is going to be more of a closer long-term. But I will go with McCarthy. I like your play. I don't know if I see any others. Wonky literally, as we were speaking, just put on Nolan Arenado. So those are the home run calls. We will see what your guys' is next episode, because you guys made no movement on the board. As I mentioned, I didn't really give you the leaders, but Cat Fox is still at 53. Top Dog, L-Scale is 51. High Cubby and D-Blum at 50. And Cards, Go Cards is at 49, trying to make a little bit of movement here. So that's what the leaderboard looks like on the home run calls. Bubba, what do you got going on, my friend? What's going down?
The usual fun and things. Got written content at a few different websites, but more importantly, Benched with Bubba coming at you a couple times a week. Thursday night, Bubba in the Bloom. Going to have some fun looking at some relief pitching targets late in the season to help pad your stats. That'll be one topic we'll be covering. Got an MLB DFS quick hits Monday through Friday as well to preview the DraftKings slate for the day. But other than that, check me out on Twitter at BDNTrick, and I'll see you again next week.
That's right. We will actually, we'll be here. It'll be beautiful. You guys can catch In This League Fantasy Baseball podcast, Bogman and I doing a full breakdown for the weekend. I've got a Prospect One show, my Prospect show, if you guys don't know about that, coming up on Friday with James Anderson. We're going to be breaking down the minor league season, some of the biggest prospects, doing kind of a full throttle through that. And if you guys dig any of the other sports on twitch.tv/inthisleague, Bogman and I will be doing live streaming for Thursday Night Football. We'll be playing a little bit of Madden before we'll play the Thursday night game, and we'll be just hanging with everybody and having fun if you want to check that out. And find me on Twitter at IsItTheWelsh. Friendos, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Peanuts and Cracker Jacks are the best. That is you guys. And we will be back again tomorrow. Chris Clegg in the house with me as we'll end out the week. For Bubba, I am Welsh. Let's go do it. Let's go Jose Ramirez. Let's get a hit, even though we were super late. All right. Bye, friends.